they're gonna remove themselves, and you just gonna be the one that's gonna give them excuses to come back. Because people gonna show you
Holy
who
shit.
they are, you know. And every time you forgive them, that's another opportunity for them to violate more or less. It's gonna be a
Sheesh.
50-50 chance whether they do or they don't. I'm moving broke, but you owe me money, and then there's the other people that go the other way. Like,
Just because you have all the money don't mean you really in a lot of situations. Sometimes it's really who you know.
AP, that's it.
Welcome to season 1, episode 7 of AB That Said podcast, the podcast for the good guys by a good guy that be messing up sometimes, but here to have a good and no BS conversations. Man, as you can see, I have a guest here with me. But before I even touch on or introduce who he is, you feel me? This conversation is about everything networking, and I'm talking about networking, how to get in the room, the mindset change you need to have to get in the room, and how to communicate with who it is that you need to communicate with. And so before we get into the show, we need you a favor, of course. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts on the topics, and of course subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials at ep.set __. That's at EPIDASIT __. And without further ado, let's start the show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, my God, Rick, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. How you?
I'm good. I'm good. How was your day?
Chilling, man. The day was long, but we made it.
Hey, man. Hey, man. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. So, we always start the show like this. Who you are, what you do, and then we're just going to jump straight into the topic. You know what I'm saying? So, the question, of course, is who you are, what you do, and the question I got for you, of course, is what was the mindset change, or what was that thing that made you be like, you know what, this is the point in my life where I'm gonna change who I am to be better.
All right, so let me do one at a time.
Yeah, of course.
My name is Ricard G. Noel. So, most people call me Rick. You can follow me on Instagram at rickstar1875.
Of course.
But yeah, back to this. Yeah, I do a lot of different things, and I think all these things that I do all fall into place of the things that I have to do. I think that all things work for the greater good, and all the things that I'm doing is for the greater good of everyone. My 9 to 5 is a clinical director. I'm a clinical social worker. So I have a master's from Fordham University in social work with a clinical concentration. Clinical meaning that I specialize in substance abuse and mental illness. I also do psychotherapy, which is working with people with mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, manic depressive disorders, bipolar disorders, and things like that. I also have my own 501c3 nonprofit, the Real Word Ministries Incorporated. We also have a podcast attached to that, the Real Word Ministries. You can follow us on Instagram at the Real Word Ministries Inc.
Yes, sir.
And also you can check us out on YouTube, the Real Word TV. One word on YouTube, the Real Word TV. It's also a television show on the Brick Network every Tuesday and Thursday. So check us out. When it comes to church, I do ministry. I'm an ordained elder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Shout out to Herman SDA, of course.
Yes, sir.
I'm also ISERV coordinator of Franco Haitian. Couple other things.
The list is long, y'all.
Yeah, but I'm a man first, and I try to do the best that I can, and I try to help those that I can.
Yes, sir.
Of course, looking out for my family and everyone around me.
Of course, that's what it's about.
Yeah, but in regards to that shift, I think
Right. You feel me? Well polished.
Yeah, so when it comes to the shift happened a couple times, man. I think the shift happened when I came to America. The very first shift, I would say, when I came to America at the age of 2. When my family first came to America, we lived in a room. A family of 5 lived in a room probably the size of this that we in right now, in the basement, in my cousin's basement in Bushwick. And then we lived in Bushwick. We moved a couple times until the age of 10 when I came to Canarsie, and my parents purchased their first home, and that's when, things started to snowball from there.
Okay.
So I would say that transition from coming to America, then moving to Canarsie. You know, I first moved to Canarsie when there was a lot more white people in Canarsie. And then, you know, we used to have a school song. I remember the Mayor Giuliani, you know, it's funny how he popped back up in the news. Like, he had came to our school, and back then they said, and his friend Donna Handover, but you know, as you grew up, you found out that that was his mistress. Like,
Wow.
you know, the mayor brought his mistress to our elementary school. You know, that's how he was moving back then.
Wow. Okay then.
So
Nah.
it was different from what we was used to. You know, having that transition from WIC checks and food stamps to eventually, you know, getting to where we was at. I remember in high school was another switch when, you know, that was the switch from parents buying you clothes to you like, nah, I gotta find
Your way.
to
You
buy my
feel
own
me?
clothes. That was the first
Ooh,
switch. And
that's two switches so far. The first switch is coming to America, and the second switch is high school. But I'm glad that you touched on coming to America because that is actually a switch. Because me, of course, I came here also after the earthquake, back in 2010, and that is an actual big switch. Because me, I came from having my own room in Haiti. My mom's having a big crib, big front yard, garden in the back. You feel me? Like, man, I felt like Adam, man. My mom's had everything in the back garden. I would wake up, I'm like, Mom, I want some grapes. She's like, tell the maid to go get in the back. You feel me? Bring me a pile of grapes early on. So, like, coming here now to having to share a room with, you know, people and, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the environment and the shift is different. So, you know, to everybody that has, I know to a lot of people, especially right now with this Joe Biden things going on right now, a lot of people are about to experience that switch. So you're not alone, you know. So yeah, second switch, you said high school. Continue about that because, you know, I'm touching on that. So
high school was the third switch. First
Third
switch
switch.
was coming to America.
Okay,
Second
okay.
switch was moving from
yes.
Bushwick to Canarsie. 'Cause
Yeah.
believe it or not, that was a big switch, bro. Like, that was a big switch. When I was in Bushwick, I used to have one pair of sneakers for the whole year. Like, I used to wear a pair of sneakers till the soles ran out, and I would have
Sheesh.
to rip cardboard and put it in the bottom of the shoe. When I moved to Canarsie, like, I saw a bunch of black people getting money, so I was like, nah, I gotta get this one too. Like, you know, like that was a switch.
nah, that's a must.
So it was a whole different type of switch. And in high school, is a lot of the old friends that I had in junior high and elementary, like, I got rid of them because they went to different schools. Like, you know, when you go to high school, kids go to different schools now. And then it's like new kids come in that you meet, and so you form a whole different crew of people. And then different experiences in high school, like, molds you and shapes you.
For sure.
And then college was different. Like, I stayed in the towns for college, but we still had our fun. Like, we used to go to the club every week. Like, you know, me and all my boys, we had cars.
Yeah.
And so we had like a group of girls that would go out with us every week. We had the cars. Like, we had fun. Like, it was like a whole culture behind that time. So, you know, and then eventually after college, you know, my first job out of college was a job in Newark, New Jersey. And, you know, that was my first, you could say, adult relationship with a girl.
Hold on.
There.
You lived here and used to go all the way to Jersey to work?
2 hours every day for work.
Nah.
I used to take the L train
What?
to the A train to Chambers, and then take the PATH train to Newark, New Jersey, get off at Newark Penn Station, and then walk to the law firm, because that was the only place that would give me a law job at that time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, because the law firms in Manhattan were kind of racist, and the law firms in Brooklyn was like mom and pop, most of them. And so, you know, downtown wasn't like how downtown is now. So if you wanted like a legal job that paid, you had to go to the city, and, you know, the city was corporate. So yeah, you don't call them white collar for nothing. so yeah, real quick, like, one time I went to a corporate law job in the city, and then it was me and this guy, and we both stood in front of the guy who was interviewing. He looked at the resume. He's like, "This is an impressive resume. Whose resume is this?" And he looked at that guy. He's like, "Ricard?" He looked at the other guy. He thought he was me because of the resume. I started laughing. And the guy was like, "Yeah." The guy was like, "Yo, you got a great resume." The guy was like, "Yeah." And I started dying. And he's like, "Wait, "Are you Ricardo?" I said, "Yeah." He said, he said, "Come, let's talk." He said, "Yo, you got an impressive resume, but we're not hiring at this time." I'm like,
Wow.
but now, like, I hire people, so I already know what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you know,
What a switch.
yeah, so
What a switch.
yeah, so that was the first job. So I had to put on my resume. Even before that, I used to travel all the way to Harlem to work on a political campaign for Mark Levine, who ran for city council. And then before that, I did an internship at a black law firm. So all of those were switching my mind because I started coming out my comfort zone, you
Yeah.
know? Because when you're young, like your parents, especially being Haitian, they want to trap you in a bubble. They want to trap you in a circle.
That's
so when you
true.
start doing stuff on your own, like my dad used to always let us explore. Like I can say that about my dad. Like I remember, like when we first got bikes, me and my brother used to just ride. And back then they had no cell phones, and he would just stand in the middle of the street and wait for us to come back home. Like and like he wouldn't know where we went. Like he would just wait in the middle of the street, knowing that we'll eventually come back home. Like it was like that back then. It's not like that now. Like now it's different. Like you know, so when I got my first car, that was a switch. Like, you know, I used to work overnight stock from 9 at night to 6 in the morning and then go to school from 2 in the afternoon to 8 at night while I was doing my undergrad, when I was doing my bachelor's and associates. And then I went to Jersey for that job. And then after that, like I ended up working in Long Island City, Queens. And this was all because of a girl I met out in Jersey that lived in the Bronx. And then she helped me get a job in the Bronx, and I ended up working in the Bronx. And that's when I got into like working at the Bronx Housing Court, helping people that's behind in their rent, the housing arrears. And then me and her ended up breaking up, and then, you know, life continued from there. And then, you know, I got married, had a kid, and then all that situation. And then went back to school, got my master's, and then it was so many switches in between that. But regardless of what the switches were, the responsibilities were still there, and they did not decrease, they increased. So back then I remember when I first got my first job, I was my first job was McDonald's, making $130 a week.
Sheesh.
And then I was like, I looked back at that, I was like, I can't even survive that on one day now.
Nah, that's a fact.
So it's like,
Shout out to those that's doing it though.
like
But
how
sheesh.
is that possible? So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, because
Nah.
lunch alone be like $15,
Yo,
$20.
nah,
So
for
it's
real.
like-
Sheesh. So then, all right. So one of the switches that you mentioned was having to shut off friends. You know what I'm saying, to reach that certain level. You know, and that's something that a lot of people find hard. Even me right now, currently, that knowing how to, knowing who to keep around you, knowing who to let go. Not because you don't mess with them or you don't love them, but it's just like for that next level you're going to, you need that support system. You feel me? So like, how did you go about shutting off certain friends so you can be able to reach that next step?
To be honest, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna remove themselves, and you just gonna be the one that's gonna give them excuses to come back, because people gonna show you
Holy
who
shit!
they are.
Ooh, hold on.
Yeah, because
Say that again.
I probably
They go-
won't even remember the second time. It was
Come
one of those
on now,
things.
it's one of those things you just gotta
You gotta
catch
re-
it.
Yeah, you gotta
You feel
rewind
me?
the tape. You gotta rewind the tape for that one.
You gonna give
Nah.
hold on. The part I love, you said that you gonna give them excuses to keep coming back.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
because you're gonna be the one that's forgiving them, you know. And every time you forgive them, that's another opportunity for them to violate more or less. It's gonna be a
Sheesh.
50-50 chance whether they do or they don't. And you know, human beings are creatures of habit.
Yeah,
So,
facts.
you know.
True.
So yeah, like the other day I realized I had someone that I knew since elementary school, and this person, like, they showed many signs that they didn't like me. Like, I have a scar on this side of my face because him and I used to like wrestle. Like, you know, when sometimes you're a kid and you play and it starts off wrestling and then they
Yeah.
eventually get serious.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got the scar on my face. So, you know, there's only 2 people that ever gave me a scar. Him, the one here, and my sister, the one here.
No.
The only ones that ever gave me a scar on my face. So,
Knock on wood.
so you know, yeah, like, you know, me and him used to get into a lot of fights, and then after a while, like, the fights would be serious, and I'm like, yo, like, this is different. And then I remember, like, it was one time, like, his whole class was trying to jump me, like, back in junior high, and then I remember, like, Q was like, oh, you mad black. that's why you not gonna get no girls. And I used to be like, huh? And I'm like, I was like, all right. And then I used to be like, look. And then he used to be like, yo. He used to just be mad. And then he still be mad. So,
Yo, speaking of that, it's crazy how it's crazy it goes back to even your time. It's crazy how before, back in like high school, middle school, it was African booty scratchers. You know what I'm saying? They don't like dark skinned people. And now all of a sudden it's, I need a dark skinned fella, or I need a dark skinned woman in my life. Like,
dark skin's in right
nah,
now.
too late. Go back to them light skin.
Dark skin's in. And ironically enough, he was light skinned. And
You just gotta know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when I spoke about the transition, when I went
Mm-hmm.
to high school, he went to a different high school, and so did a lot of different other people. And then college, and then different things happened, you know. But there was mad different signs where like things happened that it was just weird. And then one day, he had called me, and he don't live in New York, but he was in New York for like a week, and then he had called me, like the following week, and then because we was in a group chat, we was talking about something, because you know it goes down in a group chat,
Of course.
and then he was just chatting, like, and we was like, yo, like you chatting, bro, like, and then the next day he called me FaceTime, and it's almost like he put the phone on a tripod and backed away and started like, you know when someone is like la 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 la, like riling up,
yeah.
like he was riling up on FaceTime, and I'm like,
Come
like,
on,
you
man.
grown,
It's too grown for
bro.
that, man. Come on.
And I was like, bro, if you bad, be bad. And I just hung up the phone. And he was tight, and I was like, it's clown, man.
Nah,
like,
for sure, man.
like,
Nah.
you're wildin',
Sheesh.
bro. So it's like people like that, and then other times, like, you know, people will do funny stuff, like, like, you know, like steal money, like,
Oh, man.
like it's just the weirdest thing. Like when people borrow money, and then they're like, yo, I'm gonna pay you. Say for example, you borrow money from me, like, yo, I'll pay you back by tomorrow, by 2 p.m. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. come. I'm gonna wait till like 2:30. I'm like, all right, it's 2:30 now. I'm gonna hit you up like, yo, what's good? You like, yo, hold on, give me a few. It hit 3. Yo, give me a little bit. I'm doing something. It hit 8. Like, yo, bro, like you feeding right now. Like, what you talking
Like,
about?
what do you mean I'm fiending?
Like, it's my bread. And I'm like,
Serve my
yo.
bread, bro.
And then it'll get to a point where it's like, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I have a way of finding people that I need to find. And it's like, all right. And then when I do that, they feel a way about it. And then they get mad. And they're like, oh, like, you took it too far. I'm like, no, I didn't take it too far. You could have just gave me my money like what you said you was going to do.
Yeah, to
Like,
be honest. And man, it's crazy because I don't know how people could live like, I hate owing people bread. Like, I literally, it's two things that I'm uneasy about. It's when I have no money and when I owe people money. Because it's like I don't like to have that kind of leisure over me, you know what I'm saying? And another thing is too, when it comes to you, that's you honoring your word. If you say like, yo, you're gonna give, can you borrow this, and you're gonna give it a certain time, gonna give it a certain time. Like that's how my aunt, I'm not saying my aunt, my uncle, you know what I'm saying, RIP to him. That's why anybody that borrowed money from him was scared of this guy. Because he's like, yo, listen, you have one time to fail me. If you ask me to borrow money and you tell me you're gonna give it to me by tomorrow at 3 p.m. and you don't give me that money by tomorrow at 3 p.m., you could keep the money. Don't even come and ask me ever again. And because it's like, you can't be doing that. So yeah, that friends like that, yeah, it's a lot of weird, any weird signs of friendships, you just got to take that into account and just cut it off from stem. But then here's the next thing though. So how does that conversation go though? To somebody that needs to lay off that kind of friend, or not even just if they do something weird to you. If it's like y'all still good towards each other, but you just going to that next step, how would that conversation go?
I mean, at the age of, I'm about to be 35 this year. At the age of 35, bro, I done had a lot of those conversations, and a lot of them go a lot of different ways.
Sheesh.
There's the people that be in denial. They be like, yo, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. They'll try to make it look like you're the one bugging, and you be like, all right, bro. And then it be the ones who then they'll try to get aggressive with you. They'll try to like, yo, blah, blah, and then you like, all right, if that's what you want to do. And there's those that will prey on your religious belief, like be a Christian, bro. Forgive me. Why you gotta be like that?
Wow.
There's those that'll go for your pockets, like, yo, you moving mad broke right now. I'm moving broke, but you owe me money. And then there's the other people that go the other way, like, you got it, bro. Like, so why you asking me for this money, bro? Like, that's nothing for you. Like, come on. There's that one. And there's the people that were like, I had an incident where I had two friends and we was in a group of other friends and we went out together and this one friend, he went off to these other group of people. And it's like he dead left us, and then he was like, "Yo, bro, like you came with us, but as soon as you found another person you cool with, you dipped on us. Like that's wild." But he wanted to come back to the block with us. So when he came back to the block with us, we pressed him, and then he was like, "Yo, what's good with you? Like, why you moving like that?" And then my other boy had told me like, "Yo, he had seen him with an op," and I was like, "Yo, bro, like he said that he seen you with an op, like how you moving wild like this, and you chilling with the op, bro? Like that's not cool. Like." You moving foul, bro.
Yeah.
And then instead of him coming for me, he went after my boy that told us that he seen him with the op. Like he tried to fight him. He's like, yo, bro, why you telling on me?
They never go direct. They never go direct.
And so it's like that's what ended up happening with that. But I guess they eventually pieced it out. But at the same time, like there's people, like human beings as creatures of habit. Like I had this one person, like I let them around me. They try to steal the first time. I let them around me again. They try to steal again. Let them around me again. And it's like, low key, if you borrow bread from me and you don't pay me back, like that's stealing, bro. If you wanted
Type.
to like just have it or just for me to donate it to you, you
Just say that.
Just say that. Like, yo,
Just say
bro,
that.
like I need this right now. Like I might not be able to pay you back, but whenever I can, I'm gonna give it to you. This and that. Like put it like that. But don't be like, yo, let me hold this. I'm gonna give it back to you right back. And move like that. And then when I ask it for you, like you go in all the different type of emotions. You want to
yeah.
get upset. You want to cry. You want to get vulnerable. You want to beg for your life. Like silly
Beg
stuff
for
like
my
that. like you know, like it'd be weird. You like, yo, like it'd be weird, man.
Okay. But yeah, that's crazy. So that conversation could go anyways. Sheesh. Well, I guess everybody take it up to yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you know the people you hang around with and you know the type of ways that you should communicate with the person it is for when you're going to that next step, then that is up to you. So then now, you mentioned that you've done everything on the list. I'm talking about you've got your own nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? Before we even get, because now we're going to talk about the networking, because, you know, before you start making that big shift, you got to start with yourself, and then you got to start with, you know what I'm saying, the people around you, and then you go on to the steps. So you said the shift for you was multiple things, from moving here to, you know, moving to Canarsie, then to high school, then graduating and everything. So that was the self shift. And then, you know, you said your circle, they ended up leaving themselves, which I believe is pretty lucky for you, because you don't have to really have the conversation that much, you know, because if they dip themselves. But now, how did you go about building your nonprofit to where it is right now? Because, you know, I'm pretty sure you had to go through rivers and valleys, you know what I'm saying, to get it up running. So how did you go about doing that?
I mean, you know what's crazy? I never knew where the name of the ministry came from. The Real Word Ministries is, ironically enough, back in 2015. Pastor Wilford, like he was our pastor. He was the one that afforded me the first opportunity to preach at the church, and then he was the one that said record everything going forward.
Smart.
And then after that, like my first sermon was called The Reincarnation of Ricard Gina Well. The second one was called Like He Was Without Sin, and the third one was called Empowered by the Holy Spirit. And by the third one, it went viral, and then that's when people started inviting me to the churches to preach, and also people from all around the world started to follow me on Instagram. No, at the time it was Facebook. I had Facebook at the time. People started following me on Facebook. I didn't have Instagram, I think, till 2018 or something like that.
Okay.
I was late on IG. So when all these people started following me and everything, I was like, all right, what can I do with all of this energy, you know, this transference of energy, this viewership. And I was like, let me create a portal, you know? And I was like, I'm going to create this vessel, I'm going to build it, you know? similar to Noah. If I build it, they shall come. So I started building it, and then at first everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what's this guy doing? Like, you don't know what he's doing. Rain.
It's always like that.
Ain't no rain coming. Like,
Yeah,
like this guy
Facts.
is wildin'. Like, your little ass company. That's what they used to tell me. Like, your
Wow.
little company, your little
always
show,
like that.
your little nonprofit.
Right?
I was
me?
like, all right. I was like, cool. So, like, I took my little show at first, was in my basement. Like, I used to hold my phone to myself, and I used to just talk, and hundreds of people used to watch it. Like, all right, hundreds of people watching. Then I would go to, like, the Brooklyn Central Library, and then I would rent the meeting rooms, and I'll do the show live from there. And then Sanders joined, of course, and then, he was there. He had his own audience and his own energy that he brought. It's a balance, a yin and a yang. So people just to see the two of us together, like, what these two dudes talking about? Like, off the strength alone. And he's very good at networking himself, like going up to random people and just talking.
Yeah.
And he'll push the phone in your face and be like, yo, this, blah, blah, blah. So he was good at the assist. Like, he was good at reeling them in and passing them on to me since I had the credentials. And so we build it like that. Like, we started building it like that. And then him and I kept doing the show, and then we would rent the spots, different spots at a time. People would kick us out sometimes at the spots, hating all that, because they be watching too much face, And so we eventually got our own studio. I built my own studio.
Yeah.
After a while, and then one of my OGs, he was like, submit your TV special to the TV network downtown. And I was like, there's a TV network downtown? He was like, yeah, go down there and talk to him. Excuse me. So that's what I did. And then we submitted a TV special. That TV special was eventually picked up for a TV season. We're now in the 9th season on TV.
Sheesh.
And then,
Come on now. Come on, man. 9th season, that's a lot of seasons, man. It's not easy.
Yeah, then we would have like people watching the show, ask them to donate so we could help the community.
Yeah.
And then we would do the give backs at the church.
Yeah.
Then that started snowballing, and people started to see us in real life, like actually practicing what we're preaching.
Yeah.
And they saw that we was outside in the community. Like Sanders had connections to like people that's in the streets. Like, I was well known in some neighborhoods, so we was able to go to places that other pastors or preachers wasn't able to do.
Oh, yeah.
So we was like, we was good in every hood. So, we was ministering to them, and, we fed the need first, then ministered, as in gave the food, gave the clothes, gave the toys or whatever it was. And then in 2018, we incorporated under the 501c3 with the IRS. We got the approval in 2018 in December, making us a tax-exempt company. And then from there, we started building up the company. We built up a board of directors.
Sheesh.
Started going to like different meetings. That networking part, it's one thing to say that you're an executive director. It's another thing to behave like one and to put yourself amongst others that's like you.
Yeah.
So you got to emulate the greats in order for you to reach that pinnacle. And that's what I started to do. I started putting myself in positions to where I would run into these type of people. To put yourself around these people is going to cost. Like, that's the part that they don't tell you. It's going to cost. Whether you're trying to be around, like, street industry people. Like, I've been around industry rap people, music industry people. I've been around TV people. I've been around politicians.
Yeah.
I've been around, like, all different types of people. Heads of state, people that you see in front of the cameras, people that you see that you'll never see. You understand? So it's like,
Yeah.
I see how different people move. Like, like I've seen how different people move.
So then, like, can you touch more on that, though? You said about getting into, you said it costs to get into those places. So how do you even get? Because I'm pretty sure you need invites to get into those places, right?
Yeah, you get
So,
an
like, how
invite.
you...
But the way it is, I'm going to show you the snowball effect.
Okay.
Every single thing that you see that I'm doing, I studied it. I read up on it. I Googled it. I read books on it. I studied it.
Okay.
Like, I read up on it, and then I put it into practice, and I seen what worked and what didn't work. And then every single part, meticulously, I studied. Like, I'm a student of the game. Like, same way I got a master's degree from a Jesuit university. Like I got a master's degree in everything else. Like trust me, like the master's
Talk
I
that
got
talk.
for the Jesse, which was the last one.
Okay. I hear that.
That's the one to make
You
them
know,
people believe
yeah,
me. You
that's
feel me?
facts.
So, but 6 degrees of separation, like everybody and everything is connected within 6 connections. And if you can't get past 6 people to reach to whoever it is that you want, then 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 you just messing up, man. Like if you just went through 6 people and haven't reached that person that you really need, then you messing up. I would say back in 2000 and maybe 17 or 18, I met this woman. Her name is Vicky Schneps, and she owns something called the Schneps Media Group, something that I never heard of, but everybody integrates with in the world.
What is
in the
that?
U.S. Okay,
Schnaps Media.
okay, so she owns a conglomerate of newspapers. She owns every newspaper in New York City except for the New York Times and the New York Post.
Well, damn.
Yeah,
Well, damn.
but everything from AM New York down, she owns it, and
Sheesh.
she's working her way up. So every time you open up a company in New York, you have to publish the company in the papers.
Okay.
You have to run a weekly one and a daily one for a month. That's how you publicize your company and make it official. Once you publicize it, you get something called the affidavit of publication, and then you file that with your bylaws and your articles of incorporation for your LLC within the state of New York City.
Sheesh.
So whenever someone opens up a company and they have to publish their company in the paper, she owns that paper. So for every
Wow.
time someone owns a company, opens up a company, she gets paid.
Wow. Wow. You damn.
So
It's really it's mad money out here. You just really gotta find it.
So,
Wow.
So one day I might get a call, matter of fact, from Sanders. He got a call from this doctor that lived out in Long Island. He was like, they're having a nonprofit breakfast sponsored by Investors Bank in Long Island. If we could make it, then make it. The meeting was for 9:30 in the morning, but it was free. All you had to do was RSVP. Sanders went to sleep. He didn't make it. So I went alone. And when I went alone, that's where I met Vicky Schneps. And I told her about the things that I'm doing with the company and the things that I have done. And she was like, I'm going to help you, young man. I thought she was capping.
Wow.
And she wasn't capping. She was the one that put us in position. A lot of times when we were featured in the newspaper, those papers are all the ones that she owned.
She owns. Wow.
So
That's crazy. You know, it's really about getting in. So, cause see, a lot of times what they don't tell you is that just because you have all the money don't mean you're really in a lot of situations. Sometimes it's really who you know. So it's crazy how that's really just how the startup really happened for you, from you just going to a free invitation dinner.
yeah.
That's crazy.
And from there, my first award came, the Kings of Kings. So that put me around the influential people in Brooklyn. From being around the influential people in Brooklyn, I was then put around the influential people in Queens, Long Island, Montauk. They kept certifying me, giving me
Sheesh.
awards, giving me proclamations. And I had the degree, so it's like what I don't have. You
Yeah.
feel me? So it's like
they don't have anything to hold against you.
yeah,
So
so
it's
I
just
would
like
and then when you start up a business now, you could then levy your personal credit. Remember I was telling y'all about personal credit, the debt transfers, the loan transfers, and how APR works, and the non-interest APRs. And so with my personal credit, I then backed up my business credit, and then so I got a business line of credit, which
Of
is
course.
longer than a personal line of credit. And so with the business line of credit, I used a lot of that to fund me to get into these places. Because, you know, these galas, these banquets, these political dinners, these award shows, they had like 250, 500, 300, 400 a ticket. When the golfing is like 300 to like for a round of golf is 1,500, but it's like you got to pay that to be in the room.
yeah.
One time we went to this 30-year, I think it was 30-year or 50-year. It was a 30-year gala for Life's Work. That's where we met Bill O'Reilly and Geraldo Rivera, and the city councilman of Queens was there. A few people was there.
A lot of people there.
A lot of people was there, but the same woman, Vicky Schneps, she co-started Life Work with Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo Rivera been on TV for over 30 years. He has over 68 awards. Like he's been like he's decorated. He's friends with Bill O'Reilly. Like Bill O'Reilly's friends with Trump and all the Republicans. So it's like a place with all these people in the same room.
And then you're in that room too,
Yeah.
so it's like, sheesh. I'm like, what the hell you doing up?
It's like,
what the hell you doing up
and
here?
I'm the blackest person in the room, like, literally, like the darkest, and you know, and I stand out. It's not like I stand out.
Yo, I'm so glad you mentioned it, because it's like, yo, when you be getting your awards and you be playing Pop Smoke coming down the hall, I be weak, because like, yo, it's like the crazy thing is you get in these rooms and you still yourself at the end of the day. So it's like, that's so, like, touch on that. You don't be feeling away, like you just don't care.
Nah, right now, like, I'm comfortable with being the gorilla and the lion. The lion rule with finesse, the gorilla rules with strength. Like, you know, the elephant is bigger than the lion, but the difference between the elephant and the lion's like, elephant, I'll eat you, bro. And the elephant just try to live. But the gorilla is like, yeah, I'll break all your teeth and then crush you. So it's like, imagine having the two of them. Before, I was more like the lion. I was more finesse. And I would say like more laid back. And I feel like the more laid back you are, the more people play with you, because they're going to think that you the one that don't know your power. So they'll use
Facts.
you and your power to bring influence onto them.
Facts.
And so I seen a lot of people were using me, and I sat back and I was like, why am I helping these people? Because I'm benefiting them more than they're benefiting me.
Yep.
So now I'm overcharging them. So it's like, that's the point where I'm at with it. And so the way I deal with it now is I get straight to the point and I'm short with people. Like today I'm at work, right? And at work I'm the director of social services. So I'm the director of the entire floor and the entire department. But there's people under me, and there's people and the people under me at times try to undermine me. So it happens a lot, and it happens almost everywhere that I'm at, because it's gotten to a point where I'm the leader at almost every place that I'm at. So it's like, so I sent out a form for all the people that were doing something, like all the people that we were servicing. I sent out the form. So it was a girl in the room. She was like, somebody else sent out that form. Is it the same form? And I thought about it, and I'm like, listen, like, why you asking me this? I'm your boss. Like in my mind, I'm like, why you asking me this? I'm your boss. Like, if someone sent the form before me and I sent the form after them, obviously my form is more updated, especially if the person is on vacation and the forms change every day.
Yeah.
So why you asking me compare? So I tell her, I'm like, listen, like, she sent the form, I sent another form. If you want to see the difference, you could compare and contrast them yourself if you like. And the room just got quiet. And I was like, you know, and my boy called that a crisp professional slap. And that's the one that you have to apply, because if you apply the physical slap, these cowards are gonna press charges.
Of course. Not trying to be Will Smith out here, man. Not trying to be Will Smith out here, man.
Yeah, man.
But nah, okay, yeah. So then, yeah. So sheesh, be fellas, point blank period. Be the gorilla in the lines, then, man. Be the gorilla. If you know you're strong and if you know your strength, use it. Don't be scared of the people around you. So then, how would you say that networking is important as much as, you know, money? Like,
I would say yes. They oftentimes say that your net work equals to your net worth.
Yep.
And I would say that's true. I would say when I started networking, I started being around more money. I'm going to give you an example, right? Like, one time this lady told me to come to her house, this older lady, and not for what you think. Like, this lady is like 95, like, old.
good save.
But she was a godmother, I could say. I think that's the best way to describe her. So she doesn't go to people come to her.
Okay.
So she lives in Manhattan, around Midtown. And so these houses look like the regular Manhattans skyscraper building
Yeah.
looking stuff, right? So when you come in, there's a doorman, you walk in, and then they got the old school elevator, but the old school elevator looks new. so it's like, okay. So there's a guy in there, and his job is just to pull the
Push the
lever
button.
down
Oh.
and
Oh, it's
up,
one of those.
down and up. Yep.
Sheesh.
So we go up now, and you ever been to like one of those Flatbush apartments where it's like you come off the elevator, you come off the stairs, and it's like the walkway, and then there's the door, and then you walk into an apartment, right? And an apartment looks regular. But hers, it looks the same way in the hallway. But when you walk in the apartment, you walk in this little hallway, there's another door. When you open the door, it looks like you go into a house. Like a house. Like there's a house inside of a building? Inside of an apartment. Or there's an apartment big enough to fit a house inside. Like,
What
like
is
a
going
house
on?
big enough where she has a balcony in her living room. That's
Sheesh.
how big her house was inside of her apartment.
Sheesh. Right? Your money.
Yeah. And she had pictures from the floor all the way up to the balcony on the walls. So,
Sheesh.
and in her house was a guy trying to run for president of Haiti. She had UN diplomats. She had a
Man.
random Korean girl over there. She had some guy who was the executive director of some other nonprofit. She had some other guy that was part of the Saudi family. And then she told me in French, she was like, just sit there and watch them. Just sit there and watch them for me. I said, okay, cool. So I sat there, and she was like, what do you think of these guys after they left? I was like, I don't know about this guy. I don't know about this guy. This guy seems cool. She was like, okay. Then she gave me 2 books. And it said, all the delegates of the UN. She was like, study these 2 books. And you seen how 2 weeks ago I went to the UN.
Yeah.
Back then, I didn't know I was going to go to the UN, but she been gave me the books about the people that work at the
Wow.
UN. So it's like,
Crazy. Oh wait, so the guys that was there were people from
yeah, some
from
of
the
them were
UN.
from the UN.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
Sheesh.
we're just sitting there in the house, and she had servants, like people bringing food and crackers on silver platters, moving around. And I'm like,
That's
where these people?
money.
And then like, when they walk away, you don't know where they go. Like, you looking around, you're like, where did this person go? Like, you like, there's more to this place. And you like, how big can this place
I would have asked for a tour. I would care.
And I looked, I see she got stairs that go upstairs. I was like, yo, like, you got
Sheesh.
stairs inside of an apartment that
What?
goes outside. Like, none of it was making sense to me. It felt like an Alice in Wonderland type situation. Like, you know, when she went inside of one door and then went
then
another
that's the
door and
door.
then went another house. Like, that's how it was. So it's like being able to network off with those people. And the way I was able to meet her. Okay, back in the day with Sanders, he was walking around. It was a lady trying to run for office for city council, Mercedes Narcisse. She came on the show twice, and she ended up winning city council. She's connected to a lady named Felina Baker who sings and that also has a nonprofit. She threw an award show, and then they invited me to that award show. And at the award show, I met Haitian delegates. I met the former prime minister of Haiti, and I met that lady.
Sheesh. You
So
just
being in the room.
you just gotta be in the room, man.
But then
Sheesh.
again, I had to pay to get in that
Get in the
too.
room. See, that's the thing. So it's like it's a
It's not free.
sheesh. It's not free,
And it has
but
to be expensive to keep certain people out. to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. So then you got all of these networks now. You got all these people in your bank. You got all these people in your contacts. You know what I'm saying? So how do you go about utilizing the networks that you do have now?
I would say each person for the right thing in the right time. I'm gonna give you an example, right? Through my 9 to 5 job, we went to a community board meeting. At the community board meeting, the state senator was there, and on top of me and the state senator, it was a woman who was promoting the Freemasons, and she yelled out, "Nothing." She's like, "Nothing in the city gets." That she said, "Nothing in the city doesn't get done without a Mason sitting at the table," and I was like, "What does that mean?" and then I walked up to her. I'm like, "What does that mean?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm a morning star," but I understand the lingo and I understood what she was saying. I was just playing coy, to be honest. And so I got the number of the guy. Like, she said, "This is the deputy master mason." And so when I called him, I said, "Hey, I heard nothing in the city gets done without a Mason sitting at the table. And he was like, "Oh, you heard that?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm looking for an architect." That probably went over the heads of a lot of people.
Probably. Come on now. You didn't get it? Come
But I
on,
ended up
bro.
finding an architect from the Masons, ironically, because we needed to rebuild.
Yeah. Because nothing gets done without a Mason at the table. He met some Mason. He's like, he needs an architect.
How you think we finally got the church after 30 years?
Come on, somebody. Hey! Network. Come on now. Your network. So, the only thing I do want to talk on that, I don't know because I'm not on the back end on your side, but it looks like you're doing all of this really without much mentorship, right? Because you said you pretty much look it up yourself, you do the research, you do the back end work. So now with the position you're in now, do you feel like you're in a position where you would still look for a mentor, or you feel like you got it all figured out yourself, even though realistically you can never stop learning, but you feel like in your current position right now?
To be honest, I've always had mentors. Like I said earlier, there's people that support me and support us and that help us that you'll never see, right? And those are the mentors. Like those are the people with the hidden hand, the people that are helping me to put in position. Like I said, one of my OGs, he put me onto the Brick Network. That's how we got on TV.
Okay.
The lady that put me onto the people at the UN, that's how I end up knowing about the UN and knowing how to move.
Okay.
I remember the day after I went to the UN, my boss's boss was like, "Rick, how'd you get in the UN?"
Here you go. Here you go.
I didn't get that invite. How did you get that invite? And I was just like, next time I get the invite, I'll invite you too. You can come with me. And she was like, "Yeah, thanks. I love to come."
I bet.
And then I was like, "Yeah, but I forgot the question. I lost my train of thought."
Mentorship right now.
Oh yeah, mentorship. Yeah, exactly. And so the different mentors that I find are people that come to me in different times. It's just like in the Bible, with Elijah and Elisha and all the other prophets. Moses, and after Moses came Joshua. Moses had to die, and then God said, "Just like I was with Moses, I'll be with you." It's the same exact thing, I've done had a lot of different mentors from when I was in junior high school. Shout out to Mr. Grant. He was one of the only male teachers that I ever had, black male teachers. He put me onto a lot of game. In high school, it was different people around that put me on to a lot of games. Shout out to Elder Bernard Morency. He was one of the elders in the church that really, kept it real and that looked out. So shout out to him. There's a lot of people, a lot of people that held me down, a lot of people that just pointed me in the right direction. Even if they weren't able to do it on the level that I did it, they helped put the idea in my mind, and I ran with it. And then I came back, like, "Yo, look what I did with what
you
little
gave
that
me."
you gave me. And it was like,
Yeah,
"Wow,
that's
like
good.
you did a lot."
That's good.
So
That's good.
sometimes, like Pastor Wilfred,
Yeah.
he was the one that says record
everything.
He ain't think I was gonna take it this far, His cameras are still upstairs in the old church.
No, okay, I respect that. Now that is so true, man. It's like, I feel like, to me, mentorship is like really anybody that's, well, I don't want to say anybody, but really somebody that's really invested into your growth. You feel me? To me, I see it as a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, this guy Bench. That's, to me, he's like a mentor, because literally for my whole IT career right now, for where I'm at, it's because of this guy. You feel me? He pointed me to Year Up. Year Up didn't work, but it's because he gave me the idea, which transferred me to like trade school, and then from trade school now, I keep saying I'm at Google. You know what I'm saying? So, you feel me? So because of him being there to give me those ideas, really helped me to push through. So having somebody in your corner or having a mentor is really the shortcut to life. You feel me? Instead of you going through all of those harsh trials yourself. But then now getting the network is one thing now. So how do you go about maintaining the network? Because it seems to you, the way, from, like I said, I'm not in the back end, but from just the front end, seeing everything, it seems like the way you support your contacts or your networks is by going through the events that they throw, to show that support. So how other ways do you go about holding those relationships?
Yeah, I would say that to keep it 100, I'm not in everybody's face like that, bro. Like I like my privacy. I like my alone time. Like I like being alone sometimes. I feel like I put enough public, and I feel like some other stuff I just want my own time.
True.
So when it comes to like these people, I try when I'm in their presence to give them 100%, show them that love and respect, and I leave that impression. And then I'm like, yo, next time I see you, and every time I see you, it's gonna be love. If there's love there, like
Of course.
that's all I could do. Like if I'm free, yeah, I'm gonna pop out. Like when the Assemblywoman Monique Chandler Waterman won, she invited me to her inauguration. I popped out because I was free. Like when other people invite me to their events, like I'll come. I'll pull up if somebody want to come on the show and we don't got no guests. Like yeah, I'll pop up. Like if you cross my mind and I hit you up and we chatting, or if I'm free and we could link up, we'll link up. You know, it's genuine with me. Like, but I don't go out my way to like kiss someone behind because they rich or they got money or they got status. Like, nah, man. Like, I'm not hanging around rich people mansions all day. Just outside. Nah.
Facts.
And there are some of them that are like that. Like, yo, come chill with me, come hang out with me. And I'm like, come on, man. I got a whole life. Like, I can't. Sit
They already made it, so they got time to do all that.
Like, and plus, time is money. Like you know, if it takes me an hour to get to your house because you live in Manhattan, and then you want me to chill with you for an hour, 2 hours, and then I gotta take an hour to get home. That's 4 hours that I lost. You know, that's a sacrifice. And it's like you rich already. Like it's what am I doing just sitting here? Like but there's people that's like that. Like they like a lot of people around them. Friends are expensive, man. Especially when you the one that got the money.
That's a fact.
Like, like they cost, so.
Yeah, okay, I respect that. Sheesh. All right, well, you dropped a lot of gems right now, I ain't gonna lie. So before we move on to that next section, I just want to sum up everything before we move on to that next section, which is, it's a section called the 3 Guys Guide. Basically, it's the 3 most important things out of this whole conversation. Number 1 is it costs to get in the room. You feel me? So don't expect to have all the networks if you're not gonna pay to get close to the proximity of the network. You feel me? Number 2, it takes a lot of different parts. Literally, like I always mention, it literally just takes one decision to change your whole life. Like once you say, yo, listen, especially as a guy, like your word is your bond. You feel me? I love that 007 line. You feel me? Your word is your bond. So once you make that decision to be like, all right, this is the moment where I'm going to change my life or I'm going to turn things around, you really got to hold yourself accountable to that. You feel me? And number 3, most important one, who you keep around is most definitely important or definitely have an influence on you. So make sure if you're shedding them or if you're getting yourself to that next level and you meet or you get into that room, just make sure you give 100%.
Facts. But then you can't finesse everything though. You have to build a strong foundation. Like, like before I go to an event, you gotta remember I gotta go shopping, I gotta get the shirt, the outfit, the shoes.
Appearance is key.
And then I gotta get accessories. Like you have to have accessories, cufflinks, pins, watches, rings, whatever. Make sure you coordinate me. Make sure you smelling good.
For sure.
Because first impressions is everything.
Everything.
And they're gonna look at you, especially if you're different. So me, I make sure I'm on point. When the camera's flashing every single time, and I know they're gonna look at me. So I gotta be on point with what I'm doing.
For sure.
And then also you gotta be able to carry a conversation. You got to know like the intelligent things to say. Don't make a fool out of yourself. Don't try to drink too much or come in there smelling loud. You gotta have self-respect for yourself because, again, first impressions is everything. Like, you gotta know how to introduce yourself, how to greet a man or a woman, show respect.
Just touch on that. Go in depth on that, bro. Like some people don't, for the guys that don't know, like go in depth on that. Like
greet a man?
The greeting a man, greeting a man, the way you're dressing is very important, like you're saying. So the way to greet a man is very important too, because not a lot of people know how to greet people, man.
With dressing, you gotta understand the difference between casual, business casual, black tie, black tie formal, and black tie optional. Like you gotta understand all of those. Like casual is regular sneaker t-shirt. Business casual is button up shirt, like what I got on. Khaki slacks, and either some loafers or some shoes. Formal, business attire. You gotta put suit. Once you
Suit
say
on,
business,
yep.
suit, white tie, white shirt.
White
Sorry,
shirt.
white collar, black tie. They say black tie is tuxedo.
Yeah.
White shirt, black tuxedo, black flat shoes. So you gotta get all that on point. Make sure you're well groomed. Your hair, your nails, your beard.
Yep.
Make sure you're on point. Make sure you don't look homeless. Make sure you're on point.
Of course.
So like, again, if you got a business account, that comes in handy. You can swipe that on your business account, because it's a business expense. You
and that's also
represent the
tax
business.
write-off, I believe,
Yeah.
right? Yes, sir.
Yeah, like, because you represent the business, and you're advocating for the business on the behalf because you're one of its first employees.
Yeah.
So like expenses like, getting in the rooms, moving, Ubers, flights, like those things, anything to get into that location, you got to do what you got to do. Like, I remember, like, I'll give you an example. Like, for the hip hop culture, there's a dude called Malik Dupree. Like, he owns a sunglasses store.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He runs with rappers and stuff like that, Like, a person like that, like, we could chill, like, at like a basketball game, right? So if we go chill at the basketball game, the hood celebrities are going to come out. Like Fab,
Yeah.
Mano, like those type of dudes. Like, those are the dudes that they run with. So if I'm around them, those are the dudes going to be around us. So that's the kind of crew that's going to be there. Like, say, for example, we're more grown in the street. Like, let's just say Angela Yee. Like, she's more grown in the street. So, it's going to have, like, more of Afrocentric theme feeling. But, that you could maybe wear, like, a white tee with a blazer on top. Like, something like that, If it's an award show, like, you dress more formal. Like, more like tie, shirt, And then if you see a man with a woman, like, you greet the man first and then you greet the woman respectfully.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, they say don't ever greet a man sitting down. You got to stand up and
Stand up and shake his hand,
Give him respect first. If they talking too much, just excuse yourself. Like, if you in a place and you don't feel comfortable, do what's called a French exit. Like, I've been practicing that a lot.
What is that?
A French exit. Like, say, for example, you walk in a spot, you say hello to everybody, so you make sure everybody sees you. You will look around, you'll get a drink, because you always get one drink. You walk around, parlay, and then you look around like, oh, where's the bathroom? Then you act like you're going to use the bathroom, walk out, get in your car, go home. You're like, all right.
Nah.
You go like that never happened. If you say they see you, they see you.
Wow.
You said what up
The
to
French
everybody.
exit. You know what?
Yeah.
I know something to try now.
Yeah. Just think of James Bond. Like, he always walks into the party, fix himself, pick up a drink, and then it's
Yep.
like he's been there the whole time. And then when he about to dip, he put the drink back. Like, oh, where's the bathroom? Goes to the bathroom,
Bathroom
dips off.
skate. Wow, the
Like-
French exit. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot.
Oh man. All right. Well, we reached the next section of the show where you get to ask me a question about anything relating to the topic, or any question you have for me.
First question I want to know is why you picked that name for this podcast. Like, that's it.
Oh man. Okay. So, sheesh. The name of the podcast, it was me and my best friend. We took it because, of course, we're Haitian heritage, and we didn't want to call the podcast "Period Podcast." You feel me? Because that's what that shit means, actually. Period, basically. So I ain't want to really.
Period, like the end of a sentence?
Yeah, like period.
Oh,
You feel me? So I didn't want to just name the Period Podcast. So at first we wanted a Talk That Talk podcast. You feel me? Or Let's Talk About It. But then we was like, yo, listen, if that said just sounds better, because at the end of everything, we just that's something everybody understands, and it's like basically a lingo. So we just ran with it, and then that's how we came about.
okay,
me?
copy.
Yeah. So if that's the only question you got.
Nah, like, you also, all right, like, how is it, like, coming on my platform and for me being on your platform now?
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's crazy because as you guys know, he has his own show. It's love, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's always love because you always had your arms out to me. I think I've been on your show 3 times, I believe, right? 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, first time you was real nervous.
Yeah, real nervous, man.
You said like
So I've been here. What I said at the beginning, I've been here following, and every time I believe you've always extended out for me. If I'm not busy, I'm always free and available to go. I've seen the old transformation from the old room to your new room, and then to now me being here. You know what I'm saying? It's been Gucci. You feel me? I've taken quite inspiration from your side of everything too. So to have it here, yeah, it's good. It's good. You know, I've been following from far, and me, I always like you said, studying anybody. So I've studied everybody I need to study on podcast wise, and so yeah, I'm pretty sure the intro is a little familiar to you, ain't it? If it went over your head or not. Show me the real word. Everything you always mention the real word and you used to spell it out too. Yeah, I got that from you.
Yeah.
You feel me? So gotta give the credit where the credit is due.
No,
So
that's facts. Like even some older people, they be telling me, and they be like, "Caleb said he's inspired by you." And I'm like,
yeah,
"Word?"
type shit,
Like,
yeah, I give the credit where the credit is due. Feel me? So yeah, you know, I'm studying from far. Always a student in the game at all times. You feel me? So it's good. It's great. You know, it's great. Feel me?
do you think people are shocked by the things that I'm doing?
Sheesh. Do I think they're shocked? I wouldn't say shocked, more so surprised.
That's the same meaning, bro.
Surprised, shocked, same thing.
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
So explain. Let me hear.
Okay, shocked is like. Okay, shocked is like to me is like, you know, a little static. Like, you know, you get a little static. You're like, oh shit, like I just got shocked. But surprise is like, cause you keep upping it every single time. So it's like every time you up it, they're like, oh, so he's doing this now, and he's doing this now, he's doing this now. For example, the turkey drive. You did the turkey drive, and everybody's like, huh, okay. Then you did the coat drive, and then it's like every time you keep upping it, they just keep getting more and more surprised. Cause it's like the level, like you keep upping it every single time. So to me, I think it's a difference between shocked and surprised. Cause it's like shocking is like if Ronaldo, the soccer player, all of a sudden started playing basketball. It's like, oh shit, like that's shocking. But if Ronaldo keep upping, like he keeps getting top scorer every other time, it's like, whoa, okay, now that's surprising. You see what I'm saying? So that I think they're more surprised than shocked at what you're doing.
But there's two
feel
sides
me?
to every coin, right? Because somebody told me that sometimes people get annoyed by watching, like, you win too much. Like this girl was like, there's probably some people that press the mute button on me. Like, damn, this guy won another award. Like, I ain't even won one award my whole life. Like, how much more you gonna win?
But then at the same time, it's like it is always two sides of everything. You feel me? Like people always gonna be like, "Damn, he keep winning awards," but then there's others. It's like, "Damn, like this nigga is really out here putting on." You feel me? And that's just me. I always like to see people win, bro. Like I genuinely just want to see people win. Even if you do me wrong or if you don't, I just genuinely want to see you win. So the more awards you keep on getting, and you getting packed with awards, bro. I don't even know where you fitting all them shits at. But it's like, you feel me? Like, but it's like you putting on, bro. Like, and you're Haitian out there too. Black man, educated, well polished, bro. And you getting in these rooms, like, to me, it's like, yo, keep going. Like, really don't stop. Like, keep pushing. You putting on for the culture and shit. Pop Smoke got that too. You know?
And
feel me?
To be honest, like, I would like to put a lot more people in, but a lot more people be intimidated by that price tag, bro. Like, I
That's
remember
a
one
fact.
time I put online, because I had 3 different events that I was invited to. I was invited to the city councilwoman's birthday dinner. I was invited to the golf special, and I was invited to a gala. And I had put up who wants to come to them. I think the cheapest one was like $150. And I think only Ace had went to the golf thing. And I think I didn't go to the city councilwoman thing, and I went to the gala one. I think I went to that one alone. Now, it was an award show. Ironically enough, I'm getting awarded by that same company this year. So shout out to Meepo, making the impossible possible. They're awarding me with the Hall of Fame award.
Sheesh. Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, it's called the Hall of Fame Community something award. I forget the name. It's a long name. But yeah. So shout out to them. You know, I'm being awarded for that.
I mean, well, you have to think about it too. They have to be interested to be getting in those rooms, because a lot of people, like you said, are intimidated by people in power, and a lot of people don't know themselves really.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
for you to try to get in those rooms, you have to know yourself and be yourself. And a lot of people are still figuring it out, or they don't know themselves. So
Facts.
for them to even be interested in getting in the room, once again, like you said, the price tag shocks them. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't see no, because for you go, you're a public figure basically. So when you go,
Yeah.
you're promoting your brand, you're promoting, you know what I'm saying, you're the real word.
Yeah.
For them, they don't know what value they're gonna get because
Yeah,
it's
they
not
don't know
really
what to
their
do.
lane. You feel me? They won't really know how to maneuver in there.
Let me give an example of that. I had this friend. Ironically, he's not my friend anymore. Like, he felt some kind of way. So, yeah, over some money, man. Over some money. So like, I had invited him to one of those events. Ironically enough, I paid half for him too. And then he came, and then when he came, he had his work ID like hanging out his pocket. I'm like, bro,
Oh,
put that
come
away, bro.
on,
Like, what
man,
are you doing?
come
Like,
on.
and then he's like, oh, nah, I'm like, yo, it's not that kind of party, bro. Like,
At all.
it's not that kind of party. You better put away your work ID. He's like, I. But then I understood what he's trying to do. His work ID validates him, and it gives him the status, I guess, from where he gets the job. So his identity lies within the job. So if he puts the ID away, then he has to rely on his personal identity. But maybe he hasn't established that personal identity yet. So I guess that's what it was. And so he felt inferior for being in the room sitting next to the. Ironically enough, he was sitting next to the city councilman of Queens. And so he probably felt insecure sitting next to him, like, damn, I don't belong at this table. And I'm like, nah, like, you're my guest, so you good. Like, don't worry about nothing else.
Exactly, and a lot of people, they don't really know what to do. Like I said, they don't really know how to maneuver it, what to do once they're in that position. You feel me? A lot of times,
Facts.
you feel me? There's it's not a quote, but it's really a lot of things that a lot of the rich people always say. They're like, Gary Vee, for example, he always says, try everything until you land on what you like. You feel me? And a lot of times, rich people always tell you, listen, go to them open houses on the $1 million homes. Go to that Rolls Royce and just sit in there. Like, a lot of people don't know that there's more than what they are around.
Manifesting.
You feel exactly manifesting too. So a lot of them don't know anything past what they know right now.
Yeah,
you
I
feel
did
me?
that.
So
And it worked. I did that. It worked. Yeah, man.
I did that. It worked.
Like, I remember one day, me and Ace, we was sitting one day in the car, and I was like, yo, bro, I bet you if I get a Rolls Royce and we take a picture, everyone will go crazy. He was like, yo, you think people that, you think they're going to fall for it? I'm like, yo, they're going to fall for it, bro. He was like, aye. I said, yo, we're going to do this. So I told my sister, get the camera. Me and Ace got Flea. We went to the dealer, hopped in the Rolls. My phone went crazy. I went viral again. I was like, look at these niggas. People.
I remember that. Wait, didn't you do it again though? With the it was the Rolls Royce and you had another car, right?
The Ferrari.
The Ferrari.
And the
Oh,
Lambo
yeah,
truck.
and the Lambo truck.
Bro, people started showing up to my crib. I see it. Yeah, it's like, yo, what's good, bro? What up, bro? You good? You good? Like, yo, where the Rolls Royce at, bro? I'm like, yo, I ain't seen you since high school, bro. You a whole stranger. Talking about where the Rolls Royce at.
Oh man.
So,
Sheesh. It popping out the woodworks.
yeah, so stuff like that works, bro. Like I didn't, it's all different marketing strategies.
For
and
sure.
It's like when I apply them, they work. And when I see things online or when I see things in movies, I mimic it in real life, and I see what the outcome is. Or it's I'll see a picture and I'm like, it's like you said, rich people say go to open houses. So what I do is I'll go online and then I'll look inside of mansions and see how they look, and then I'll start making my house look like it.
that, yeah.
So I'll go say for example I'll go to rich people cribs. They might be selling something or they might give me something. Or I'll go on eBay. I'll go on Craigslist. I'll go to different places. Plus, I got a charity, so people donate apartments. Sometimes they'll donate everything in a whole apartment. Like if somebody dies, and they're like, come take what you want.
Okay.
And we'll get whole apartments, and we'll have drives, and we'll give them out and stuff like that. That's how we've been able to do free markets where we have a whole flea market in a park and everything is free. We done did that in Brownsville and all of that.
Sheesh.
So just those different things, you know, learning how to finesse, learning how to do different things, learning how to play on the emotions of people, knowing the right thumbnails to put when you post,
Yeah.
knowing like which kind of background music to play,
Yeah.
which
Very
voiceovers to
important.
put, the titles to put,
Yeah.
like what's gonna draw people in, like from the titles of my sermon to the way I preach, the way I talk, the things I post, the way I say things. It's like no one is talking, dressing, acting, or behaving like me within those circles.
Yeah, true.
And I wouldn't say I'm doing better than everybody in those circles, but I'm performing at a high rate
Yeah.
within those circles. Like whether it be like, you know, even though like I got a street aspect of me, like I'm really an ordained elder. Like I could really preach and I really know the Bible better than most people. So it's like, you know, like I could really do that. Like, you know, like
You have a lot of avenues you could play. You feel me?
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
you're really not bounded to one thing. Wow, a lot of
Yeah.
and most people are bounded by one thing.
and I don't allow myself to neither. Like I remember
Yeah.
the other day, it was some girl that came online talking about, oh, this is some pastor. She about to blackmail him if I don't pay his ransom. Talking wild nonsense.
What?
And I kind of knew son. Like I didn't know him personal, but I knew of him. Like we were Facebook friends, kind of. You know, he hit me up a few times like, yo, can you do your thing, bro? Like that. But I never met him in the person. At least not that I know of. And he be claiming Canarsie, but I've never seen him in Canarsie, so I can't say like I don't know him from Canarsie. You know, I grew up in Canarsie, but I don't know him from Canarsie. But he claims Canarsie, so I don't know. But she was like, "Oh, you gotta pay his ransom." I'm like, I'm not paying nothing. I told her kick rocks, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna expose you." I said, "I." I said, "All right, you better come near me." Like, but then I'm like, yo, like I'm not like one of those preacher pastors that you think you're gonna get over on and you think you're gonna rob or you think you're gonna blackmail. Like, no, like most of my life like is straightforward, you know? Like it's not like I'm hiding stuff, I'm ducking, I'm doing nonsense. I've always been me from day one. So it's not like I got mad different faces. I'm out here doing wild stuff. Like, nah. And plus like nobody gonna believe I was dealing with you, man. Like you're bugging, I'm like, you
Oh,
capping.
Lord.
I'm like, go somewhere.
Speaking
with
of
this
that,
song.
you said your church and stuff. Do those ever conflict with each other?
What you mean?
Like your church network and your your business network. Do they ever correlate, or is there a conflict ever happening between those two from the network side?
All right, which business you
Like
referring to?
your business, where word that network with the church network, like like do those ever have a conflict between each other?
Yeah, since day one, I feel like we started the real word out of the church. I know we used to have a lot of drives at the church building, and church folks they benefited.
Of course.
You know, I was once asked, "How come you serve the church first?" And I'm like, "The church is a community of people. Like, yeah, they come to church Saturdays and wear their best clothes, but some of these people, like, they have hard times, they have hard lives. Some of them are poor. Like, you know, like you might not be able to see it if you don't really understand economics. But if you really understand economics, like, you know, it's not, you know, looks could be deceiving, and they oftentimes are.
Yeah.
So I understand that." But I was able to reach a point where I could service both the church community and the outside community.
Okay.
And that's how I was able to find peace. It reached a point where I had to go into committee and I had to say, like, yo, like, since y'all benefiting half, y'all should pay half.
half.
If something is paying. If not, then you guys are going to have to take a break. And there was a
Yeah.
time, you remember, I wasn't giving turkeys at the church. I was doing it on the street in different places. Because it's like, y'all wasn't contributing, but then y'all want to be greedy, like, you know, because one time I brought 200 turkeys. I said 100 for the church, 100 for outside, and someone said why, and I said why because I paid for these. So it's like I'm doing what I want to do with them. So it's like if you want to do what you want to do with them, you pay.
True. Okay, sheesh. Well, man, this was a full-packed episode. I hope you guys took a lot from this, and I'm talking about from knowing how to get in the room, from knowing how to dress. I mean, Rick, you gave a lot of heat, a lot of gems. I appreciate that. But now we come to the final section, which is the support is free section. There's a section where you could shout out somebody, or shout out another business, shout out your business, shout out your mama. You know what I'm saying? Just support a company or anybody you want to support.
I shout out to everybody that's doing their thing, man. Shout out to everybody that's on the grind, or everybody coming up. Shout out to all the kids in college, the kids. Even though you might feel like that money is slow, eventually just keep putting in that work, that money gonna come. Like all the people that's still coming up, the people that might be doing trades or people that might be trying to get into different avenues, like remember the snowball effect, just like how compounding interest. Like you start off small, but if you keep building it up, it's gonna build
Get
up
big.
and more is gonna come.
Yep.
You know, don't give up and think that, everything's supposed to come tomorrow. Like I'm about to be 35. Like I started. This is what 20 years in the making. Like from 15 to now, because 15 in high school, that's when I started getting my own money. Up
Yeah.
until now, so you see that's 20 years. So don't be thinking like you fresh off the stoop or fresh off the porch and you ready to shoot in the NBA finals. Like, nah, man, you gotta put in
Gotta
work.
put in that work.
Yeah, and you gotta like reach every avenue. Like I said, like I'm executive director of my own company. I'm director of another person's company. I'm also an elder at a church that sits on the board,
Sheesh.
and I also lead my own family, and I lead a couple other people. Like I know a lot of y'all see me with a couple people out there, you know. So, being in a leadership position, you gotta know how to manage things. You know how to manage their different personalities and different egos, and you gotta learn how to be neutral because people gonna expect you to choose
Pick a
sides.
side, yep.
And if you choose the sides as a leader, you always gonna fall flat because
Yeah.
you need everybody to work together. You're supposed to be the glue that's holding everyone together. So you always gotta keep that in mind. Not every man is meant to lead, and that's why leaders carry a heavy burden. I've been youth director since 2015.
Yep.
so
Yes, sir.
so I think this is gonna be my last year. I know I say that every year, but
You
think
you
it's-
sure this time?
I mean the church is bought. Once the church is set, somebody else could take it because I feel like building director is gonna take a lot of work, especially for a building that size.
Fresh, yeah.
So I mean, other than that, I feel like it's time somebody else step up. Like real talk,
True.
like it's time somebody else step up.
True,
And I feel like I didn't mean to create such big shoes, but I feel like even if I was to retire today, I feel like I've done enough.
Yeah, but then now, like you said though, the shoes is big to fill.
I mean, they gonna create their own legacy. Joshua ain't worried about Moses. He just did what God told him to do.
God, somebody get him in the booth, man. You feel me? All right, well, now for me, as usual, my supports, my editor's gonna put them up on who it is that I'm giving the free shout out to. You feel me? But Rick, I appreciate you for stopping by. This is the first episode of you stopping by. Hopefully, it's not the last.
Nah,
You
of
feel
course
me?
not.
I hope you come back for the future times and we can touch on more subjects. Of course, as you guys already know, this was a topic on everything networking. So I hope you guys really, to all my good guys here, I hope you guys really took in all this information because he just gave y'all the keys, just gave y'all the gems. Now it's time for y'all to run the play. Damn, I sound like an Instagram guru.
One last play, the social media play, and I'll tell you how I did it, right?
Oh yeah, run that up.
Go to most of the most popular people that you know. Go to their friend list and add all of their friends. Once you add all of their friends, add all of their friends. Once you add all of their friends, add all of their friends. Whenever you post something, tag random 100 people. Next time you post something, don't tag the same 100 people. Tag another 100 people. For every 100 people you tag, at least 2 people going to see it. So that 2 times it. And that 2 times, if they're willing to share it, then that 3 times it. Also, same thing with Instagram. You add them all up until you hit the max. And once you hit the max, use the app to see which one is not following you and unfollow them, and then keep starting again. Excuse me. Try to join Discord groups. Majority of them right now is on Telegram. So it's comment for comment. Like it's like groups of 8, groups of 10, groups of 20, groups of 25. You comment through all the groups. You go through the Discord, and then you submit your Instagram link, and then all the people that you comment on will come and comments on yours. And like for likes, share for shares, comments for comments, all these other things that you could do to network and build with people online. Just keep adding people until you build your network. Like my network on LinkedIn is like 15K people. Everybody from all different backgrounds. So it's like every room that I step in. I would say the one downfall that we don't mention is like now when you go places, a lot of people know you and you have no idea who they are. And that part, nah, real talk. And that part is scary. Like that part is scary. I ain't
Like, who the hell are you?
Like, that's what it is. Just snowball effect. Adding a small group of people. Like, I built my Facebook business page up to 100K. So I was having 100K a week watching The Real Word on Facebook. And then I went back to my personal page because it was like 100K strangers watching the show. And I felt like I felt like I'd rather have 1,000 people that know me watch it than 100K strangers.
Sheesh,
Because
okay, gotcha.
the 1,000 people that know me, that's gonna snowball. If one person watching is 3 people in the room, that's 4 people watching.
Yeah. Sheesh. All right, then. Sheesh. Whew. This was this up, man. Y'all better like and comment. Feel me? Any other questions you got? This my guy personally out. Any questions you have, I'll personally hit him up. Or you guys can follow him. I'm gonna put all his information right here. And he's really an open book. Like he's anytime you have a question, he's always ready to answer. Just don't hit him up at night. You feel me? He's probably sleeping. You feel me?
So you're sleeping, I'm out.
You feel me? So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, we on that road. We already hit 100 subscribers, man. Goodness gracious, we working. We on the road to that 200, and hopefully that 1K real soon. So keep that support coming. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials at @EPIDASIT__. That's at EPIDASIT__. And thank you for stopping by. See you in the next episode. I'm going.
AP.sit.